Hey, Freddie, how are you, my friend?
Patrick, how you doing?
Doing good, buddy. How was your weekend?
Good.
And I guess and week, right? We're already on Wednesday. Is that what day it is?
Right. Yeah. They kind of blend in together.
Absolutely. Did have you heard the news around the showings going back on schedule for Monday?
Right. So the band ends on the 26th, and then the 27th. Yeah, you can do showings up to three
Right.
people. Is what they're saying. They're calling forgot what they called it, like extra care instead of staying
Right.
home.
Yeah, it's safer at home guidelines. I'll send it. Do you have it? Because I can send it to you if you don't have it.
I don't actually.
Okay, I'll email it to you. There is, and I don't know. Right now, we're the only two on the call, so I don't know. With EXP, if you guys have a company attorney that addresses everything and everyone, do you guys have something like that answer?
We do have our managing broker.
Sure.
Just keeping up appraised, but I'm not sure they sent out the actual guideline. They did send out the summary, and we have we get Scott Peterson's updates.
Right.
So,
yes, that's great.
What is it? What's the summary on that? So you can do showings, but you can't do open houses yet, right?
Correct. And the reason is because you can only have at one point so many people, right? And what they're concerned about is neighbors who are calling in, and they're saying there's 10 cars in the driveway, you can't have social gatherings. What are they doing? The home's for sale, they must be working. And so the challenge around it is, and you can see on Facebook, there's all these different perspectives of it, right? The reality is the attorney general is looking for spotlight agents to give $100,000 fine to and threaten with up to a year in jail.
Yeah.
So I think the secondary part is, I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think they're going to do a year in jail or something like that. But the $1,000 fine, oh yeah, they're going to make some. We will see it, because there's other brokers right now that are saying, "Game on, everybody, go back to work." And it's like, dude, be careful, because it doesn't. You go show 10 houses and you get 5 fines. That's going to be a bit of a challenge, right? So, and that's kind of actually what the topic of today is, tactic number 11, and we just have 2 more of these. So today's and Friday's, and this is master the market of the moment. So mastering the market of the moment. So now, when this was written was 2009, right? So what do you think the market of the moment was back then?
Well, I would say a buyer's market.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because we were just coming out of 2008. I mean, anywhere from 2008 to 2000, maybe 11 or 12.
Right.
You know, there was a lot of inventory, and of course the financial mortgage situation was really bad. So
Yeah.
so very different than now, I would say. Well, now before Corona, right? I mean,
Right.
because one of the things we've seen is we don't have enough inventory, and that this doesn't change it, but it has changed, you know, buyers' fears of getting into a house right now.
Yeah. Well, it changes in a lot of those conversations, right? Like, it's not, is it the market of 10 years ago? No. I mean, that's just the quick answer is no. However, if you look at barrels of oil, if you look at some of these indicators that are going on right now, barrels of oil is extremely low, which means domestic oil, and the reason I know this is being from Alaska, right? So like domestic oil is, you know, what we're exporting out, importing, you know, we're exporting our domestic, we're importing the foreign. Well, if the barrels of oil goes way down and they're selling to us at a discount, that means we have to sell at a discount, which then now that impacts the economy all the way across, all the way down to nails. Like, I mean, it truly, the entire construction of a home outside of the lumber, oil is one of the essential components. So, or fossil fuels of some sort, right? So it's really looking at this going, okay, what's the ramifications of this? And knowing that, you know, what's the lag time? You know, one of the things that I hear a lot on, and I have the blessing of coaching quite a few of our top agents and having conversations with a lot of others who aren't with KW, you know, to get a good feel. And one of the things I'm hearing is, I'm doing great, I just had some virtual closings. And then my question that I ask back is, that's awesome, congratulations. How is your business doing today? How are you growing your business today? And then it's crickets. Because the reality is, the successes that they have are from 60 days ago, right? Like those are the activities 90 days ago that then created a deal that was 60 days ago that then now is closing. So I don't think that we're really, really going to have a good grasp on this until July. And I think it'll be June, July. And the agents that are putting their head down, especially this week, like this is week 5 of this, right? So what are we doing? We're running out of house projects.
Yeah.
So then how are we building out our business today, and what do those touches look like? So then we're insulating our business in June and July, because that's when I think we're going to see the hit. And it probably will go June, July, August, right? And then depending on how that spins, but you very well could run into, you know, almost 40-50% less competition after this is over. So it's like, how do you want your business, your life to look on the other side of this? And then you can start to structure it back. So for example, one of the things that I'm coaching on right now is a 30-day business plan. What's your 30-day business plan look like? What's your main goal? What are the 3 priorities that go into that goal? And there's 5 strategies under each priority that lead to the goal as well. So, for example, if my goal is to, let's go income, right? My goal is to make $50,000 in 30 days. Okay, now how do I do that? Is it price point? Is it volume? Is it the listings? No matter what the market does, how do I do that? Because it's not what you can't do, it's what you can do, right? So it's when we're looking at this going, okay, let's break that apart. So, for example, what would be your average commission, Freddie, if you looked at your personal average?
Like, okay, per transaction?
Yeah, like your GCI, exactly.
Yeah, probably about 7 to 10 grand.
Okay, cool. So let's call it, well, let's call it 10 grand because it's easy math.
Okay.
So
right.
We know we need 5 closings to hit 50,000, right? The question is going to be, is it 50,000 net or is it 50,000 gross? Because those are 2 totally different conversations. So one way that I could hit that 50,000, and this, do you mind if I kind of detour on this and you and I just kind of have our own one-on-one coaching and
Sure, not at all.
talk about the other stuff too in the book, but this, I think this actually could be more relevant for you. So if your main goal is 50K, then your priority number 1, what do you think that would look like? What would be your first priority in order to have an income of 50,000 in 30 days?
Have 5 closings?
Right, 5 closings, completely. So we got to get 5 closings, right? Well, if we have to get 5 closings, which is absolutely doable, by the way, how do we offset that? We could do 5 buyers. We could do 5 listings. We could do a combination of the 2, right?
Right.
So even in this market we have now, which all the crazy fun stuff going on, we know that if we have 3 listings will produce typically 5 closings, because you're going to have buyers that come into these listings that you convert because they don't always go to the home they're going to purchase, right? Like they're shopping. The nice thing right now is you have buyers that are uber serious. So there's no tire kicking. The listings as well, they're motivated, right? Those who are testing the market, they're not going to go on the market right now. They're going to either withdraw, pull back, expired, and then they'll relook to go on the market in 6 months. At least that's what I'm hearing. Are you hearing anything differently than that?
No, I mean, what I'm hearing is people are just on standby right now.
Right. So if we took 3 listings as priority number 1, right? So 3 listings, this is going to lead to 5 closings. So we know that 1 listing in a normal market, 1 listing usually produces on average 2 to 3 buyers, wouldn't you say? Like each listing kind of leveraging it out. So if it was on this, we know that, okay, I'm going to take 3 listings. Now, if I'm going to average 2 buyers per listing, it's going to give me 6 closing, which means I'm insulating my closing goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm insulating the goal and I fall a little short, then I'll hit 50. If I'm insulating the goal and I blow it up, shoot, I might hit 60, which I won't complain about, right? Especially in a market where your competition's slowing down, if they're not getting the same conversation. So the key would be, okay, strategy number 1, how do I get 3 listings? So if you were looking at strategies to get listings, what do you think the first one would be?
Well, I guess the best thing would be referrals,
Okay.
but I think, or Sphere, but I would think that you start looking for expired listings,
that could be in there. Yeah. Your best, so going on conversion ratios, if we have an active database, we know that there's a 12-to-2 conversion ratio, meaning 12 contacts, not 12 dials, but 12 contacts. So you're engaging in a conversation will lead to two business opportunities. One is a direct business opportunity. So I might be leaning, reaching out to you and your wife and your family, and you're going to work with me directly, right? So that would be my direct. The second one is actually the referral. So by creating such a customer experience for you and your family, you're more likely to refer me, right? Especially if I'm able to ask the question. Like if I bring you into my business plan, we're going to help each other out. So if I'm looking at 12 to 2 on a conversion, does that make sense, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. So you need to reach out to 12 people in your contacts to get 2 business ops. One should be a direct, one that they want to buy or sell, and
right.
then the other is a referral that they give you.
Right. So very quick math. If I reach out to 36, then I just covered it, didn't I? So if I have 36 contacts through my database, and the key around this is, and I hear this a lot, hey, I made these calls, but how did those questions look, right? Did we scuba dive or did we snorkel? Like that's one of the best analogies, because snorkeling a lot of times is we're staying at the top, we're not diving deep. Scuba diving, we're diving deep, which then shows our care and our candor on creating business opportunities for clients. So the key would be, how do we scuba dive, right? So that would be your first piece, would be the database. Now, if I was going to look at what my overall database numbers should be, typically, and now granted, these numbers are going to change a little bit and they'll flex, Freddie, because the market did change, right?
Mm-hmm.
Typically, I can run a business off of a 10% ROI on a database. So for example, if my goal is to have 100 closings, then I need to have 1,000 in my database that I consistently reach out to. Doesn't mean they're all going to buy, but it means it's mind share, right? So if I can get their mind share, their top of mind, then I can increase my conversions. Now, in a shifted market like we have now, it might not be 10% at all. It could be 5%. So now I need 2,000 to hit 100 sales, right? And you just chop the math down. If I want 10 sales, I need 200, right? It's the same thing as pop a zero off. So for this, I'm looking at 5, right? So if I need 5, then really what I'm looking for is a database, an active engaged database of at least 50. If not 100, if I did 5%, just to, again, we're insulating our business. So that's what the data.
So can we back up a little?
Yeah.
Patrick, when you were saying what kind of questions are you asking, are you talking about when you're reaching out to contact?
Mm-hmm.
Is that okay? So what kind of, are you just doing small talk, or are you really diving in and having a true conversation? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. And what it is, it's starting with care, right? How are you? How is your family doing? Anything that I can do for you guys, right? No, we're good. Cool. Hey, I just wanted to revisit something, Freddie. At the beginning of this year, we had some real estate goals, and I know with all this craziness, there's going to be opportunities. So my question to you is, have your real estate goals changed for 2020? And then I let you answer that, right? And you're going to say yes or no, and then I'm going to say, really, tell me more. So now I'm starting to get down to it, right? Mm-hmm. No, they haven't. We're still pushing forward. Awesome. That's fantastic. Has your search tweaked a little bit? How can I best help you? Because I don't want to just send you properties to send you properties. Like or send you homes, right? Take properties out because it's kind of a cold word. Great for commercial, not for residential. But it's, my goal throughout this entire amazing new arena that we're playing in is to still provide you with the best real estate service possible and for you to achieve your goals. So what does that need to look like for you and your family? That's what I mean by going deep, right? Because now you're going to go, boom, I'm going to find out your motivation. 1 through 10, 1 being never ever going to buy or sell, and 10 being you would have done it yesterday if the right property. Where are we sitting? Right. And then I can go, okay, cool. If you didn't live here, which this is a great question to ask door knocking, it can go with database as well. If you didn't live in your current home, where would you live in Denver and why? Right. It's not a closed question. And that's part of it. It's having open questions,
Right.
because as I'm doing that, I'm making my notes, and then I can circle back. So Freddie, you mentioned that what's really important to you and your family is living in Cherry Creek for these specific reasons. Is that correct? See, I'm cycling back to you. Or you said that your motivation was a 6, but if you found the right property, it'd be a 9. What would that perfect property look like?
Mhm.
And it could be something even where we say, you know, that property's not there yet, but it could be, right? They're going to start slowly allowing us to have more services and more engagement going on with the general public. The key is how do we set ourselves up in advance, right? Because otherwise we're playing at the same, a brand new agent, seasoned agent in a market shift play at the same exact level. The difference is the experienced agent knows what to do and the brand new agent just goes running out blind. Hopefully not, but that's what we find, you know?
Right.
So now expired and for sale by owners, right? That could be another way to gain those 3 listings that then will lead to 5 closings. So we know what with expired listings and for sale by owners, their hands are in the air, right? Help. Like that's what they're literally saying. So if they're saying help and their number one way of selling their home that they thought was an open house, yet now they can't do open houses, changes the whole conversation, right? Because your value as a real estate agent has never been higher than today. I mean, you'd have to go 15, 20 years back. And that's because we owned the information. Well, we're right back to those days again of owning the information. So I would look at that and say, okay, cool. Getting specific on this, if I'm looking at for sale by owners and expireds, then really what I might be looking at is, okay, maybe there's a 60% conversion rate. Maybe it's 50%, right? You go low, then you'll end up getting high. So the point on it is I need to have 6 listing appointments with either expired or for sale by owners or combination, maybe it's a 3 and 3, in order to get 3 listings. Does that make sense? So I'm playing the numbers game. So then what happens is I go, okay, cool, how do I get those 6? And that's when either it's a database or it's our neighborhood or it's the MLS, right? There's Vulcan 7's another program. How are we creating that excitement going on? The next one, what do you think could be another one? So we've talked about referrals, database, SOI, and we've talked about expireds and FSBOs.
I guess working with another agent or getting agent referrals.
Sure. Yeah, that could work.
Or, you know, I guess the other one is doing social media.
Right. Well, in those two, what's cool about that is, especially if you have a network that you're able to lean on that is even not within Denver, you know, if you were to isolate communities that feed Denver or feed specific locations in Denver, or, I mean, just taking the current situation, we know that folks are moving to Denver for the hospitals. Nurses are coming down here right now. So where are they coming from? I mean, that's a huge question. So then if I can isolate where they're coming from, then I can reach out to agents, top agents that are in that area. And now I may even have a buyer for the listing coming up. It's, you know, going to, you know, what different events are available to go to online. So they have like Next Level Agents right now. It's an awesome online group. There's, I think, 60,000 members to it. In fact, they did, if you go on my Facebook page, you'll find it. There's a lot of groups, but if you just search that, today they specifically were talking with some of the top producers in the Southeast, and they were giving strategies on what they're doing. And, you know, really it was the grit behind it. You know, they're like, yeah, we fail forward, we fail often. It happens literally every day, and we keep going. And this is why, right? And so so those agent referrals could be there. Online leads. You know, you can go through Facebook directly to buy online leads with that. In the event you were to join Keller, there's Lead Accelerator, which is averaging between 39 cents and $1 a lead, which is pretty darn good. And they're doing, if you check out Facebook also, they're doing a special right now. I think it's if you put $75 or $100 in, they'll do a $25 credit. So there could,
are you talking Facebook with Lead Accelerator or Facebook ads?
no, Facebook in general. Lead Accelerator, the difference is it's more targeted. It's not like a blanket program.
Okay.
Right. So there's that option. You know, another one could be affiliated businesses. What affiliated businesses do we know that get into homes before we do, right? Could be a landscaper, could be, I mean, right now you got right now is HVAC, landscapers, plumbers, right? Essential businesses. I don't know if landscaper is essential, but how do we get in front of those businesses, right? And that could be, maybe you took a look at your network on affiliated businesses and did a business of the week spotlight. And by pouring into them, they will pour back into you. We had in Anchorage, I had a landscaper that also did snow removal, and he did both residential and commercial, and he gave him just a couple scripts to use. Shane would, like, literally, not referrals. I could trace back closings every year, 6 to 8 closings just from the landscaper. He was there before I was.
Yeah.
And he's there every day working on their landscaping. And so the homeowner's constantly talking to them, and that he's, you know, giving little bits and pieces about what my service is and how I do that and how we treat our customers. And I would get a call on my cell phone saying, hey, I just met Shane. He said, you're the person I need to list with. When can we meet? And I'm not kidding. Like, those would be conversations. And it's because Shane set the whole thing up. So who is within our network? And it may not be just landscapers, right? Who's in the medical community that we can lean on? Who is in, gosh, you know what's another one, Freddie? And it sounds dark, but it's not, if you look at it from a different perspective. But who do we know that is at a funeral home? Who do we know that's is part of anything like that? The funeral services, funeral homes. The reason is because families, especially when there's a crisis, they don't know where to turn. And we know, especially with COVID, that there's specific age groups getting hit harder than others, right? So, and it comes in, truly, it's something that, depending on the severity of it, can come out of nowhere and it can take you out. So when there's times of distraught and stress, they're lean on those who they can truly, truly trust. So having a relationship with a funeral home or funeral services actually is an incredible thing to do, right? Divorce attorneys, that's another one. I mean, I think, you know, we're going to see several different aspects to this. There is the potential of having another baby boom because everyone's home. There is also, at the same time, the flip of it. Couples that aren't usually home together and have issues already now are stuck at home together. So that could, unfortunately, and it's not, again, this isn't praying, you're truly helping them out, but that could raise the rates of divorces going on. If so, then who's the attorney they lean on, and who's the agent that attorney leans on, right? Estate sales is another one. Like, maybe it's an estate attorney, maybe it's a divorce attorney. You know, I think we're going to see a lot of movement in the commercial real estate division. So which commercial agents do you know here locally that could pass residential referrals? That could be another one that ties into that. And that's just one priority with 5 strategies attached to it. So that one priority should lead us to 5 closings and 50,000. Now, what's cool about this is now we start to layer it. So the second priority, you know, could be something completely different than three listings, because all of this first priority was built around taking 3 listings. So the second priority could be different, right? It might be working with 5 buyers. It might be doing a combination of the 2. And then we go through that exact same steps on strategies. That becomes
second priority. Are you saying second goal?
Yeah, it was
priority, then 5 strategies per priority.
Yeah, and it's a second goal that supports the primary goal, right? Like, by hitting my second goal, I will hit the primary. So if the first goal was 3 listings because I know that I can get 2 buyers off of a listing, right? So I'm insulating that. My second goal, let's say I don't have any listings, but I'm buyer heavy or investor heavy. Okay, cool. How many buyers do I need to work with to hit 50? It's the same conversation as 5. So, but it could actually be a little bit different because your commission could be different as coming as a buyer versus a seller, right? As a listing agent versus a buyer's agent. So you want to insulate against that. And then our third priority is going to be the next set of supporting supporting sub goal that leads to the primary goal. The cool thing about this, and this has been a huge thing in the coaching, right, is it's a 30-day plan. Typically GPSs are a year or a quarter, or this is a month because it's specific to the market of today, the market of the moment. What is talked about here in tactic number 11 is this is 2009, so they're talking about short sales, foreclosures, and REOs, right?
Right.
If I could give some advice around that, if you don't already have the relationships with short sales and REOs, then maybe that's not the avenue to go. And the reason I say that, first of all, are you familiar with short sales and REOs and all that good stuff?
Not quite sure the difference between the short sales, foreclosures, and REOs.
Okay.
I know foreclosures are just already done.
Yeah.
Short sales still have a chance.
Right. So going through, if we start with a short sale first, the reason they call it a short sale is time-wise, there's nothing short about it at all. It's a 6 to 9 month deal and multiple buyer parties coming to you. So you have to be prepared and you have to be insulating your business around that. Mm-hmm. So a short sale is, they are short to the closing table. That's what it is. So if I have refied my home and the market flips upside down and I have to move and I'm not going to get what I need to be able to break even, now I'm short. So I have to go to the bank, or my agent does, and negotiate on my behalf on a predetermined price. And the bank may play or may not play. A REO is an actual bank-owned property. Here's the catch with REOs. REOs typically are given to agents that are willing to put the utilities in their name, have cash reserves in the bank specifically for the properties in case of repairs, right? Here in Colorado, it's not as drastic as up north. You would have to have on average $30,000 liquid at all times to do REOs, because you don't know what you're going to have to go in and see and find, right? And back then, people were pretty pissed off, so they were cutting copper out of homes. They were taking a bat to the walls. I mean, 30,000, goodness, that doesn't even touch it.
Right.
And the bank's not going to do it.
Toilets and all that.
Yeah. And the bank's not going to do it, right? They're going to go, Freddie, it's your responsibility. So unless we have that type of liquidity going on in the bank and a definite plan around that, I wouldn't advise it. In fact, I've done a few short sales enough to know that that's not what I wanted to do. And I have friends of mine that specialized in REOs, and I would literally refer them the business, and then they cut me back referrals. The third one is foreclosures, and foreclosures is where the home the deed has gone back to the bank, but it's literally at the courthouse. It hasn't actually gone back to Chase Bank yet. So now it's still available to be purchased. Like back in the day, you would see this. You'd see people line up at the courthouse steps and put bids down on foreclosure properties. So they're very similar, yet they're very different. And it was a strategy back then. Do I think we're going to see short sales again? Yes, I do. I really do. I think the way we appreciate it, and depending on how this whole thing shakes out, we could see that again. We could see the rise in foreclosures because of the unemployment rates that are rising right now. I mean, there is that chance. Now, there's opportunities around that, so we don't have to worry about that. but it's being prepared. So my advice around that, if we were looking at that $50,000 goal, unless it's an avenue you want to explore, which I can definitely, help you with, I would advise against doing the REOs or the short sales or the foreclosures until we're ready.
Right.
Because I think you can nail the business and rock it out being your database, being online leads, different capture sources. The key is the coaching though too. Like it's right now more than ever, we're seeing, agents that are hungry, that, they want their business to survive. I mean, that's literally, they're in survival mode. So, and they're leaning into coaching that's going on. And that's the reason that's important, is because we've been there before. So we have there's some similarities, but for those, if they don't have any coaching and no community and nothing going on, it's very scary. And there's a unsettledness that happens in the stillness, right? Like when it's quiet, and it's really quiet, and we know we're in week number 5 of this, we have things coming up, and I do think it's a light at the end of the tunnel. Is it the end of the tunnel? Oh no. So how do we prepare our businesses moving forward, knowing that the rest of your competition, whether regardless of the brokerage, is going to go like that? They're going to go down. So It's now we can strategically do market share and start picking up market share left and right. That all comes from a plan to be able to go down and make sure, and say accountability, right? Like, hey, Freddie, how are those 3 listings going, right? That we're going to get on the market. So you have that 50 grand in June, right? And it's cool. How can I help you around that now? So that's where it takes that whole nother level. And of course the technology piece, right? Like even EXP, you have the technology, you have the avatar, the platform, right? I can't think of the name of it, not the cloud.
Rubella.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have those pieces. Now, how are the agents leaning on each other? That becomes, because that community becomes massively important. And I'm not flipping this into a recruiting script, so don't worry. But Erica Roberg, and I'm not sure if you know Erica or not. She was on a couple of the Zoom calls last week. Mm-hmm. She was at EXP and when good friends with Ray, and when that all went down, she did the move over. And it's what she's talked about more than anything else is the community piece.
Yeah.
And that was for her, that's what she needed, right? So it's looking at
KW now.
Yeah, she came on board on Tuesday.
Oh, cool.
Last week, and yeah, she's already killing it, which is awesome, right? And she goes, her takeaway, and if you're open to talking with her, she'd love to talk with you. It's not I'm staying out of it, dude. I'm like, I just want to help you out and do what's best for you. So but she said her biggest thing that she noticed last week was that she has felt like she's been with our office forever. She's like, I've only been with your office for 2 days, but because of how the community is going, right? And it's all like this, she's like locked in and ready to rock. Like she's pulling listings, she's getting her business going again. She talked about how that was her one thing, was community. And in Erica's world, she was missing that. So yeah, but you've been on the same calls with her. She'd be happy to chat with you. And then it's a total non-biased, opinion about what the heck's going on. But I know we went over today, and I kind of took a different route. That's literally one of my coaching conversations happening right now, is how do we do a 30-day business plan that's going to give you energy that's off of your strengths? I don't want you doing something where it's off of the things we're having challenges with, because it's very challenging from a mindset perspective to say, hey, Freddie, I know we didn't do lead gen consistently at 2 hours a day, so I want you to do 6 hours. I mean, come on, right? Like, let's be real. Right. So it's instead, how do we become uber efficient? And then we have those we can hold, that can help hold us accountable. And then all of this stuff pans out. So any comments, questions, anything like that from today?
No, I like the approach of doing a 30-day, timeline, because just it's just very dialed in, you know. It's
Yeah.
kind of like, all right, let's not say what's gonna, you know, what I like about it, what you said is it's based on the market right now.
Hmm.
And, you know, if you do 90 day or whatever, that's going to be totally different in 90 days. So, so I like that. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
Appreciate it,
I
man. I'm glad I called in. You would have been here by
Yeah,
yourself.
I know. Well, then I just get to talk to myself like normal. So I appreciate you being on the call. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you the template for the GPS. So exactly what we were going over, there's my crazy notes. I'm going to send you a template and then fill that out to the best you can and send it back to me. And I'll help you through it. Because there's two different documents that work together. One's the GPS. The other's a 411, which is broken down by weeks and days on what we're doing the activities. And those two talk to each other.
All right. Yeah, I'll give it a gander, man.
Cool. Awesome. Hey, question, because I know I'm going to talk to Erica today. Do you want me to set something up for you to talk with her and just, it's up to you.
No, I'm good right now. I'll
Cool.
reach out to her if I need you. I'll get her info from you.
Yeah,
Thanks.
let me know. Let me know.
All right.
All right, my
All right.
friend. Take it easy,
care.
buddy.
Thank
See
you.
ya.